Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Is That Brandon Sharing Thoughts podcast. So for today's podcast, I thought I would just discuss an event that I went to a couple of weeks ago, more like a couple of months ago by the time this podcast episode goes out. But this was a friend's birthday. Yeah, we ended up just celebrating a couple of weeks earlier. So yeah, the girl's name was Annie, or Anika, however you want to pronounce it, and I obviously know her through some of her mutual friends. Basically, a long story short, there's a group of us in town who kind of always go to the pub or always go to different events, and then within those groups you kind of have little groups, different spin-offs almost. It's almost like you've got your main show, any little side shows and side quests with even more side shows and side quests within them, which is a really interesting thing because you're able to then meet more people and meet different people, different types of people, go to different things with different people, and it's not just always the same people at the same places. So yeah, I was invited as one of 14, I think, that ended up turning up. And yeah, it was just a group of friends, and you know, we went to celebrate her pre-21st birthday in London. So in terms of starting the day, I think it was on a Saturday as well. So I was obviously at home. I would have gone to tennis, but I think the weather was too hot, or I think there was some sort of tournament going on, so I didn't manage to sign up in time, and therefore tennis didn't happen. But yeah, I think I was just listening to music and doing my washing, doing my cleaning as I normally would on a Saturday, and then called one of my mates, Rachel, because we were both invited, and just basically asked how we were going to get there and how we were obviously going to get back. So I think we're really good at planning stuff. Sometimes we leave it to the last minute, sometimes we don't plan at all. A bit like my birthday last year, did not plan that at all. Literally left that until the last minute and still managed to get 8 people turn up, plus other people later in the evening, and you know, going to the pub and a couple of games nights and stuff. But yeah, this year was so much better in terms of the planning for that. But yeah, I think Rachel's one of those people that is quite good at planning, quite good at just having a plan, sticking with it, and there we go. So I think we met up at about 3 o'clock. I had probably only just got out of the shower around 2, and I think I'd messaged her saying, yeah, come over. So she buzzed, and I still hadn't got dressed, and I let her in, so I obviously had to quickly just chuck some clothes on. And I was like, I didn't even realise you were coming this early. And she was like, well, you did message me and say for me to come over a little bit earlier. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. And now I'm going to get dressed, and hopefully you can tell me an outfit that you think will look good on me. So yeah, she was with me for probably about half an hour, got my outfit changed, and we were just discussing, you know, the best way to get up there, what we were going to do when we were going to get up there, and you know, I don't think we'd seen each other in a couple of weeks, so it was nice to have a short catch up at least. But yeah, so she helped me find an outfit, and whether I took this jacket or that jacket or this shirt or that shirt. So I ended up picking a brand new jacket that I've just bought myself. I think it was from Boohoo Man. I think it was only about a £5, but brand new jacket. I think it's like leather, and it's really, really long, kind of like science teacher looking jacket, but it was really, really nice. And yeah, I think that's initially what I was going to wear, but I think because it was stupid hot, I didn't need that, so I ended up just taking my sleeveless gilet, which is what I wear everywhere. So until the zip breaks and the jacket dies, that's probably going to be my go-to jacket wherever I go if the weather is nice or too hot, because it's a jacket enough that I'm covering my t-shirt or shirt, but it's also open enough that my arms are out, I've got a bit of space to breathe, I can take it off easy enough as well. So yeah, we ended up getting a train, we ended up going up, and I think she'd just got back from a wedding or some sort of event or something, and we both seemed to get invited to different things, and also seem to have our own plans as well. So I think it's good, because as much as, you know, we don't need to go to every event together, if we do get invited to something together, at least we can plan together how we're getting there, how we're getting back, if there's people we can invite as +1s or +2s, and just the overall vibe we think we're going for. Is it just a night out? Is it just a barbecue? Is it going to be, you know, a pub crawl to loads of places? Are we just going out for dinner, you know, town for one and then going home? So whatever we do, we work out what we're doing for that thing. And I think I'll get Rachel on a podcast so we can actually talk about these things in in more depth, basically. Because I remember even our first conversation, the very, very first conversation, the very, very first time that I met her through a friend called Ben, she literally came around at, I think, 6 o'clock in the afternoon or early evening, and she didn't leave until 3 o'clock the next morning. So we literally were sitting there for about 9 hours just talking, jumping from one topic to another, from one opportunity to another, from this type of content, that type of content, this person, that person, this TV show, this life story, this thing I've learned from the past, you know, this musical instrument I've learned, these clubs I went to. And it was just a very great conversation, because as much as neither of us really knew what we were talking about, we were just covering so many different topics. And I think at that point I realised, yeah, this is someone I can definitely have a good friendship with, because we can both talk and talk and talk, but we also allow each other to talk as well. So yeah, I think it's a very strong friendship. But again, it's one of those things of she can then go off and do her own things with her friends, or girly meetups or dinners. I can obviously go and do my things with new friends or friends that I've made through her without the both of us having to go together. So we just vary it up. You know, she'll go off with her family, brother, friends in town. I go and do my thing. And then we'll either, you know, reconcile and talk about what we've done or where we've been and who we've met, or we'll just kind of go, yep, had a great weekend, and now we can go and do our thing together. So yeah, we got on the train, and I think we just basically discussed that we're quite good at making plans, and, you know, some people rely on us, or some people constantly want to see us all the time, or me or her or both. And sometimes we just, you know, we're not in the mood, and we are two individual people. So as much as we might be in some of the same sorts of groups, there have been times where I've not wanted to go out and she has, and I go, cool, all right, have fun, that's fine. Well, I don't want to go out, but don't stop that from allowing you to go out and have fun. And then the other way around, there's times where she's not gone and I've gone, actually, they're just as much my friends as they are hers. They're just people that just happen to like our company. So I've gone out, I've said hi, I've, you know, gone for drinks or dinners with people. And it's just being present. I think that's what I've kind of learned. There's so many people in the world. There's so much stuff, I think is the easiest way to phrase it, going on, whether it's news stories or social media, breakups, love, dating, TV shows. There's so many things going on. You can't physically do everything and you can't please everyone, but just keep who you've got around you happy and just keep people around you. I think that's literally it. Just keep good people around you and just let life do what life wants to do, which is what we did. So we went to London. And yeah, the venue is called Ballerson. So it's basically a venue that's kind of like a club / adult ball pit area. So you've got a bar at the front, you've got VIP booths and stands and stuff upstairs with tables, ice buckets, little dance floors. You've got a DJ with the DJ set, and then obviously downstairs you've got like a photo booth, the toilets, the bar area where you can kind of spin to win things as well. I think it's like a free drink or a shot. And then like an adult ball pit, which was just around the corner. It wasn't how I remembered it last time, because the last time I went there was almost like a massive ball pit. So either that was being constructed, so they were obviously changing it, and had a smaller pit for the meantime, or that was a phase and they have now just genuinely condensed it to turn it more into like a bar pub club thing than just a ball pit place. So yeah, not really sure on that. So I think that's the thing. If you work there, you know what the venue's like, you know whether it's changed or adjusted or just altered itself. And I think a lot of the people that were working behind the bar the last time I went to the venue as well. But yeah, the DJ was great, the VIP sections were really, really good, but I'll get into that in a minute. But before we actually ended up going there, I think myself and Rachel ended up walking down the street where the premises were, but we were there a little bit early, so we decided to go and get a drink somewhere. Obviously, I wasn't drinking, so I just had a Diet Coke. I think she had some sort of porn-style martini or some sort of cocktail. I think it's just to relax yourself a little bit. You know, you're in London, you're having a treat, you're going somewhere, it's basically a night out. It's basically a party, a celebration. So you're not going to get drunk because it's not your party. You don't want to get there plastered and not enjoy it. But it's a little holiday, so you can kind of treat yourself because you're out of town. So anyway, we walked past what looked like a really fancy hotel, and it had like a hotel, bar, restaurant area. And without any second thoughts, Rachel went straight in. She went, well, we've committed now, so we have to go up. And I think in the lift there was something called like the rooftop bar. So we've gone up to rooftop bar, and the guy that, you know, when you go to a restaurant, you have the little podium thing, and they go, oh, table for how many? So he was standing there, he goes, "Oh, are you visitors, guests? What have you got a room number?" We're like, "No, just coming up to have a drink." He's like, "Okay, are you going to get food?" We're like, "No, just a drink." So he's like, "Okay, off to the bar if you want to go off to the bar." So we sat at the bar. So we're having a look through the menus and stuff. And I think that's the thing. It was a paid hotel. So it genuinely was a hotel bar and restaurant place. The rooftop bar was open to anyone and everyone. And I think as soon as we both walked in, I noticed straight away it looked like there was a lot of creative people, because there was a lot of people with like their smart looking hats or their, fancy jackets and things like that. So potentially models or professionals. They're all on their laptops, their phones, their iPads. Some of them had little headphones in. Looked like some of them were on Microsoft Teams, joining meetings and all sorts. So I think it's one of those places that it's a place where they can have a little hotel room, or, a few days away from work, or a hotel for work, and also a safe place to create content or have their private business meetings or, discussions and stuff about projects and things. And I think it would be really interesting to see why everyone is at that venue, because you obviously had people upstairs that were just drinking or eating or smoking. You obviously had all the people working there just doing their job, because obviously that's their job. But it'd be nice to know why some of the creative people were there, whether they're for meetings, are they preparing things, who are they connected to, how are they connected to people, are they just on a day trip, do they just have loads of money so they can spend money on this type of venue and space, or they wanted just free Wi-Fi but they wanted somewhere that was a bit quiet. So there's so many reasons and so many reasons and so many ways that people could use the space and be in that space. But it's one of those things, you don't get involved. People do their own thing. If they want to talk to you, they will. If they don't, they won't. And so we ended up at the rooftop bit, sitting at the bar. The guy that served to us was really attractive. I think the bar was called Kosa, Toka, Soga. I'm not sure what it was called. It was 4 letters. And he was really, really attractive. Kosa, can't remember. But really, really hot. I think he looked European as well. So perfectly my type. Really friendly, really hairy. Anyway, I'm not making this about men, but he was great. And then there was the other guy who was serving drinks as well. He was all right. Got our couple of drinks, sitting there having a chat, working out when the others were coming to town. I think they ended up getting a later train, so they ended up getting to town probably a little bit later, but then somehow ended up in the venue before us. So I think one of them put in the group, "Where are you guys? Get to the venue now, we're going to be late." So I think they were obviously joking a little bit. She probably was drunk when she sent the message. But we went at the door for like 5 or 10 minutes. Security had to just, make sure we were definitely in the right place. And then we got ushered in, taken to the VIP bit. And then that's kind of when the night started. So, straight away, I think our birthday girlfriend was quite tipsy, is the polite PG way to say that. I think she'd had quite a lot of beverages. But because it's a birthday thing, she's and 21 is an important age as well. So she was almost 21, but basically celebrating her 21st. The DJ, again, really friendly. It took me a while to kind of head over and, say thank you and that the music was great and stuff. I asked him to play a couple of records and he managed to find a few good songs. And I just said, I'll connect with you on socials, and if you need any content people or, want to network, then again, he's now got me on Instagram. And I think that's the thing. It's just, as much as I don't like stalking people or following people straight away, sometimes you just never know. Sometimes you never know whether you can benefit their life or their career, whether they can benefit or help you with your career, or creating a podcast or creating a video or a music video. And that's why I don't care who I follow on socials now, because as much as I don't want to compare myself to things and don't want to see people doing things and going on holiday and whatever, at the same time, it doesn't really affect me now, I don't think, as much. It still makes me go, "Oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I wish I could go there." But I can only do what I can do in my life, wherever my life is right now. Those things I will do in the future. But I almost even thought about using my social media following and my platform as kind of like a bit of a game. So where I just take 10 people, so 10 random people, make a little podcast about what they're doing or where they are, or, what have they been up to recently, turn it into a song, a podcast, a game, some sort of YouTube series, doing like a spoof of a game show with some of those people. So I'm working on it. I've just got loads of ideas in my head where I could take the stress of comparing myself, but actually utilize it to turn it into something a bit more fun and less stressful. So it's to be confirmed. So let's we'll hold on that thought. Like I said, that's a thought for another day. But anyway, at the at the venue, like I said, there was loads of little opportunities and things to like network with people. We had our nice little VIP booth, which was nice. They did bring out some pizza. We basically demolished that in 5 minutes. A box of ice, which it was very warm in the venue as well. So I was just sitting there sucking on ice a couple of times. And yeah, I ended up meeting a guy there as well. So obviously there's a couple of apps that I am still on. And one of them, you can basically see the proximity of how close you are to another person. And I'd messaged him just saying hi, and he messaged back saying hi. I was like, oh, what are you doing? I think we're in the same place. And he was like, well, I'm on bag and jacket duty because all of his mates decided to go to the adult play pit, and obviously he was just left because he didn't want to do that. So yeah, he then texted saying, oh, my friends are back. I'm going out for a cigarette if you want to come out and say hi. So I did. I went out, said hi. Guy's name was Charlie. I think he was from like Gloucester. Is it Gloucester or not Leicester, but Cornwall. I think it was Cornwall he said he came from. So he'd moved from somewhere to Cornwall, and then from Cornwall to London, or Scotland I think he almost went to, or Glasgow. I'm not really too sure. But yeah, he now lives in London with his best mate or best couple of mates and their partners and the rest of it. So yeah, really nice guy. He's obviously cabin crew. So yeah, I think his Instagram name was something like Fly Charlie, because obviously Charlie flies. So that was quite creative. And yeah, we had quite a good chat about what we're looking for, and you know, that it's very weird that you can literally find people online with the click of a few buttons. So as strange as that was, it you know, he did seem like a nice guy. But I just think for me, I don't really know what I'm looking for. And the fact that we were only visiting London, I probably knew that it may not have been possible. And also, you know, I think we've got two very different lives. I'm more of a creative, you know, I'm into like photography and videography and things like that. He's obviously a pilot or some sort of cabin crew, so he's constantly going to be traveling around. And I think for me, it's not even a too high maintenance thing. I just think it's he'd be too busy and he'd be traveling around the world too much in a fast-paced job that I wouldn't be able to keep up with it, or what country they're going to next and what country they're staying in and all of this sort of stuff. And if he met someone on the plane, or you know, hooked up with someone on the plane, like I think for me that whole cabin crew attire, or the whole cabin crew industry is not, I'm not going to say it's a bad industry, I'm not going to say it's a negative stereotype of, you know, everyone just gets with everyone, but there are stories of that, and you never know, you know, how do you know that your partner's going off somewhere? How do you know they're not talking to someone or wanting to get to know someone, or ends up doing more with someone than what they tell you? It's just that risk, you know. Obviously, I don't expect my partner to be by my side 24/7, walking me down the street everywhere I go, if and when I ever do find someone. But yeah, it'd need to be potentially someone that isn't always running somewhere, or always getting a train or a plane or a flight somewhere or a car, because at least one of us would need to have a bit more of a slow-paced life. I think if I'm the one that's 100% energy, go, sorting things out, I'd want them to be a bit more relaxed, maybe working from home, or just a standard office job, or something where I know, right, this is where they're going to be during these times. This is the time we've got together, and, you know, these are different things that we have in common and stuff. So that's why I'm not rushing to find love. And, you know, as nice as this Charlie guy is and was, you know, we did have a little kiss, and it was, yeah, good. But, yeah, I think as for right now, I don't think we're a compatible match, so I haven't messaged him since. We do have each other on socials, so we are easily connected, but then so am I with so many of the other people that I have networked with in the past and made connections with. So, you know, certain DJs, not famous obviously, I'm not going to make up any like conspiracy or lies and rumours and stuff, but a couple of DJs, a couple of music people. I actually met a guy called Brandon, quite ironically enough, in the Ballerson place a couple of years ago. So met him through a friend. I think I met her because we were in a music video together, and then met him because she tagged him in a photo, and I was like, wow, he's really hot, but he's just got the same name as me. And then ended up meeting him at the bar because I walked past him in the street, didn't think it was him, messaged him, he said it was himself, and then ended up seeing him at the bar, and I was like, oh, you've just been following me all day, because we both walked past each other going to different places, and then ended up at the same bar in the evening anyway. So yeah, that was really interesting. But yeah, he looked great, but again, didn't really go anywhere, other than, you know, just having the same name and still being connected on social media. But I think that's the thing. I think I'll just connect with and talk to and hang out with as many different people as possible, and then eventually the right person will come along and my whole life could shift. My whole content creating life could shift and either go one way where I completely get rid of it and stop it and just focus on my real life, or this person will also be into content, creating content, or there might be a musician or a producer or a dancer or a singer, and then I end up making even more content and slightly different content, and that could become my full-time job. So you just never know where life is going to take you. So that's why I just chat and network everywhere I go. So now that I don't drink, I'm completely in my own zone, in my actual thoughts. And sometimes I'll have confidence to talk to people, and just sometimes I won't. So, talking to that Charlie guy, it was great. He's a nice guy. But I just had confidence that night. And, I don't know where I got it from, whether, I was in a positive mood. I was just wanting to talk to people. I think that's the thing with me. I don't want to shut things off straight away. I don't want to shut people down or tell people that I'm not interested in them. Like, I keep everything open. I just also don't want people to be led on. So I just go, look, for now, I'm not ready, or I'm not looking, or not sure this is right, or maybe we're a bit too far away. But who knows, in the future, one of these boys from the past could come back. That could be a song title. One of the boys from the past. Boys from the past. Don't know. That's a story and a song for a different day. But so there was loads of good songs anyway that were playing. The ball pit was good, but one of our friends ended up losing her flip-flops. So I think her boyfriend and one of the people that worked there had to go jumping around the ball pit to try and find her flip-flops. So she was looking for that for about half an hour. And then she wanted to go home. So yeah, I think we just that night was basically already done. So yeah, Rachel and I didn't want to get home too late. I think one of the other girls lived near us as well. So the three of us ended up coming back together, which was nice. It's almost like having a slightly bigger group. So a bit more protected really. And got back. She ended up getting a lift from the train station. The other girl ended up walking home, and I ended up walking home as well, which was fine. And a week later, someone put in the group chat, "Happy birthday, happy 21st." So it was almost like a week early, but it was a really good night. I think it's always nice going to a venue like that. Like, it's not awfully expensive. I think in total it was 200 and something that we just split between 10 or 11 people. So it was probably like 20 or £25. So it wasn't bad. And like I said, it covered the food, it covered a drink, it covered the booze, it covered kind of your own space and your own area. And 21's an important birthday. So, it's sometimes it's nice to be able to do that with and for someone, just so at least they know, look, it's actually a good turnout. And we just go from here and, continue making memories and continue meeting people and hanging out and the rest of it. And also on the way to the venue, before we ended up finding that really posh hotel, we ended up going through a few little shops. So there was a few shops in that town as well. And they're little pop-up stores. So one had like food, one had clothes, one had like marbles and stones and stuff like that. And then there was one that had like necklaces and earrings and things like that. So me and Rachel had a little explore in there. Got a little a free marble with like a meaning of what it meant. So you basically just lucky dip, put your hand in, and it tells you something positive about you, or it just tells you something that's lucky, or that stone will bring you. A bit like those lucky protective eyes that you get. Like each of these stones or marbles had their own meaning. So that mine was about like self-care and self-love and stuff like that, which was really, really nice. Keeping that very, very safe. And it was nice, I think, because we made a purchase and because we did a review online, we were able to get a free one of those. So yeah, the guy was lovely, got the website somewhere. So yeah, again, might be in touch with them if any collaborative opportunities do come up. And yeah, so that was it really. So we did that, went to the stone things, went to this posh bar, restaurant, rooftop thing. Security guy was really attractive as well. He was always looking over at us as well. I don't know if just casually, we happened to just always catch eyes. But yeah, always caught eyes with us a couple of times, walking around, making sure all the doors and stuff were locked and making sure people tucked their chairs in, or they enjoyed their time, and checking them to make sure people's food and stuff was okay. I think there was also a little VIP bit in the back because you could hear loads of like cackles and laughing and stuff behind a curtain. So that must have been some sort of private event or thing going on. But like I said, it was a really nice evening and afternoon in London. Shame we couldn't stay over. Make the most of it the weekend. Go out for a brunch, go out for a lunch, make a YouTube video. But I think events and some opportunities are better to just do as a day thing and just as a night thing or a one day thing, rather than making something more out of it than it needs to be, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think what I was basically saying to Rachel as well is, because we've obviously got a couple of Pride events coming up, we obviously want to focus on saving our money and energy and excitement for those. So just kind of wasting a night by just going out just because we're in the area didn't really make sense. Like I said, she could have easily, if there was people that she knew that were around, she could always have gone out with them, but I wasn't really feeling that. And again, I was sober, so again, depending on whether I've got confidence and how much confidence I have, I'll either be in the mood to go out, or I will just want to go home and enjoy my own company. So yeah, that was kind of the overall for Annika's birthday. So it was a really, really good 21st birthday. Like I said, my birthday was great as well. But yeah, it was nice to go out for someone else's birthday. I didn't actually realise she was so many years younger, but she obviously hid that very well. And she kind of gave me vibes of like a young Amy Winehouse as well. That she kind of looks a bit like a young Amy Winehouse. So yeah, no, she's a lovely girl, very funny. You know, it's just very funny how, you know, close and how quickly you get to know people. And I think that's the thing. I wouldn't even say that we're that close in terms of being friends, but just the fact that we have mutuals that go out all the time or that know of each other, and that's what friends are, or that's what connections are. They're people you don't really know. You get to know them a bit better, and then it's like, oh my god, like they're actually like proper friends. You know, they're like proper people you'll see on a regular basis. So yeah, she's a lovely girl, and it was just a privilege to be invited. You know, even if I wouldn't have been invited, I still would have said to Rachel, look, go, you have fun, and yeah, I think it was a really, really nice evening. So yeah, bring on the next birthday or bring on the next party, and I think that's a rule that I've been telling myself as well. Just actually enjoy meeting people, enjoy seeing people, enjoy hanging out with people. Don't always overthink and stress about things you can't control. But if you're invited somewhere and you're in the mood, then go. And if you get invited somewhere and you're not in the mood, then don't go. If you're not invited and you would have wanted to go, again, don't worry about it, because you don't need to invite them to the next thing that you do. And vice versa. You know, if someone invites you to something but you don't really feel like you want to invite them to something, you don't have to. But it's just nice to have the option of being able to go if they do offer you that invitation. So yeah, again, happy belated birthday for Annika there, 21st birthday. Someone that I don't really know, but just starting to get to know a little bit better. But yeah, I think they're planning on doing some sort of games night or games hosting at some point. So we'll see when that comes about. I think there's a barbecue that's just been booked in as well. So yeah, that'll probably happen in a couple of weeks too. But yeah, if you did enjoy my podcast review or episode, then don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Are there any topics you'd like me to talk about? You know, are there any things you'd like me to give my opinions and views and thoughts about? And have you had any of your friends or family or people that you know have a birthday celebration recently? What went well? What didn't go well? How old are these people? And if you could do one thing for your next birthday, so whether it's an important birthday or whether it's just the next milestone, yeah, what do you want to do for your next birthday, or what have you already got planned for your next birthday, or who's already planned your next birthday for you? So yeah, let me know in the comments. But yeah, until my next video, until my next podcast, don't forget to do all the sharing and subscribing. And until then, thank you for listening, and goodbye.